There
No,
we go.
Ann?
There we
Oh, there's Ann.
Okay, and
Hi, Ann.
it turns out that I don't have to have you all say your names. I can say your names. So I'm Barbara Bigelow, chairing the meeting. In attendance are Elaine Paleo, Christine Robinson, Christine Benvenuto, BZ Riley, and Ann Brigham. And again, according to, actually, Christine, which last name should I be using?
My legal name is what the town has me as, which is Marklin.
Okay, so Christine Marklin, thank you. Just your, yeah, we'll do that. Thank you. And then if there are any votes that we need to take today, I will each have to just say our name and what our vote is, yay or nay on any votes. So we'll start right off with one, which is, would anyone make a movement to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, we'll just each say our name. Barbara, in favor?
Elaine, abstain. I wasn't there.
Anne in
Christine.
favor. Oop, sorry, Christine.
I think we've
in
got
favor.
Christine in favor and Ann in favor, and BZ, you weren't here.
I would have to abstain too because I wasn't there.
Okay. And then Christine Marklin presumably also.
Took
in favor.
them.
Yes, having composed said minute. Okay, so we have 5 things on the agenda today. The first one is an update on the skate vouchers, and Elaine and Christine, leave that to the two of you to tell us what, if anything, has happened with that.
Christine, that's you.
I spoke to Stephen Kara. He got rid of all of them but one. And then I called Rachel today and no one has shown up. So my question is, and they have a month from February 17th to March 17th to use them. Is it okay if Stephen Kara gives that last one to that needy family?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks.
And
I'm a little disappointed, and maybe I don't understand why they haven't gone down there to even look at the consignment area. There's, skates that are used.
Yeah, that's too bad since this was spring break. I mean, it was their break week. They could have possibly done it, although maybe they were away and maybe the warm weather kind of made them feel like this is not skating weather. So maybe now they'll feel like skating and they'll go down this weekend.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Say a prayer, everybody. Say a prayer.
So
Anne?
Christine, just a clarifying question. So you're saying 9 people picked up vouchers, but none of them have yet gone to actually purchase the skates. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
I
that's.
think it would be appropriate to ask Stephen to follow up with the families.
Elaine, what do you think?
Sure. Probably to remind them that they only have the month.
Mhm.
Good idea. Thanks. I will mention that.
Great.
Well, it was really last week, so they probably were bicycling and doing other things,
Mhm. That's right.
You don't.
Okay, well, we'll follow up then next month, at which point we'll know how many of them have been used. The time limit would have come and gone. And then we might want to consider if there's a way, if they haven't used them, if we want to find out from the families why they didn't use them so that we can figure out a more effective approach next year. So
So
okay.
should I ask him to ask them now?
Well, given that they haven't used, they still have time, I would say ask Stephen to remind them that they need to use them and by what date. And then I don't know whether, or even to ask them, they are planning to use them. Because if they're not, then they could be given to another family or to that family who wants them.
Right.
So. Are you okay with that, Christine?
Yes, I'm just writing it all down.
Oh, okay, great.
So after the month is up, have him ask the families why they haven't used them. And if they're not going to use them, then what are we going to do with it?
Well, you should ask, tell them to ask them now if they plan on using them. And if they don't, then they could give them back to him. And we could give them to that one family.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. That's great. Are there any other comments or anything on the skates that anyone wants to make? Okay. Our second agenda item is confirming, determining some dates. Zoe suggested May 28th as the date, I'm sorry, May 27th, which is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, for the date of the farm visit. Oh, hello, Kitty.
Yes, I know. Iris, well,
That's sweet. And I've got an email out to Brian at the moment about a time to come for the invasive plant, and he's quite excited about coming. He definitely wants to come again. He definitely would like to talk about Japanese knotweed. Apparently there's been some new research on Japanese knotweed, this being his specialty, and for those of us who are there, we know how lively he is. And so the idea of listening to him be lively about Japanese knotweed is quite exciting. So
did he give you any dates or anything that he wanted to come, or he was
did he what?
give you dates that he wanted?
No, I gave him the dates that were available, but then one of the dates I needed to find out when town meeting is going to be.
It's going to
And
be the June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Had they moved it to the 3rd?
They did.
Thank you, because then I can get a hold of him to
Tonight.
let him know that that's a possible date, because early summer, late spring apparently is going to be the best time.
Mhm.
And we already had programming, so June, I have to look at this, is it June 10th or 11th? June 10th is when we're going to be doing the family field day.
Yeah.
So that weekend was
Mm.
out. Obviously, the Memorial Day weekend was out, and then I was waiting to hear what the timing was going to be. And we did not come up with a date for the Leverett one yet. Christine, yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, just tell me again, the family field day is which day?
June 10th,
June 10th.
Saturday, June 10th.
Okay.
And then the farm day,
Is the
It
20th,
was- May 27th.
right? And the Leverett Sanctuary is April 15th,
Perfect, okay.
Saturday.
What, can you remind me what that is? What is the Leverett Sanctuary?
So it's called Jefferson's, I can look it up, Jefferson something,
Safe
animals,
Haven, I think, Christine.
sorry.
Safe Haven, isn't it? Jefferson Safe Haven?
Yes. And so it's just these two women who are sisters, and they have a big property in Leverett, and they take all these rescue animals. They have llamas and sheep and goats and chickens and an array of animals. And we had an adult female visit there, which a whole bunch of us went to on a very cold Saturday morning, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And I just immediately thought this would be a lovely thing, because it was good for adults and kids would love it. And the woman is Trisha Hamilton's her name. She's quite enthusiastic. They had an event when they opened with their official opening, which was last August. And they had 250 people show up.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. And
Where is it? Where is it in Leverett?
it's like Cave Hill Road.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And they had to, she hired her like a policeman. She paid,
Linda.
and
Is her name Linda?
no, it's Trisha.
Oh, okay.
And anywho, so what she did when they had that initial event, and she wants me to do this now, is use Evite and make people register
Yep.
and cap the registration at 50. I have used Evite inviting people whose email addresses I had. I've never used it this way, but I don't have time right now, but I'm about to go away. And when I get back, I'm going to look into it. And she said, if I can't figure it out on my own, she's happy to walk me through it. So,
You could
yeah,
probably do it through the rec committee email blast.
mhm.
Yeah, and then you would just put it out there to the rec committee, from the rec committee, and it would blast out as an Evite, and people could sign up from that.
Okay. So basically she's gonna like, she wants to know like the ages of children that are coming. She's gonna send out she's gonna print up like packets of material or things that kids can take home. So she wants to do it age appropriate. And yeah, she's going to do like sort of a program for like the first hour where she explains how they came to be doing this and talks about the animals and different things in an age appropriate way to whoever's there. And then there's what, if based on her past experience, people will want to sort of hang around and wander over the property. So she's imagining this could be as long as 2 hours.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're very enthusiastic about it, should be good. And yeah, so we'll just have to put the word out, and then I'll do this Evite thing.
Okay. And then you'll just need to let me know how far in advance we should send out the email blast. And we can write something up and get that sent out with the request. One thing that I think we should let her know is that, well, we didn't do that kind of email through the rec committee, but the announcements about the farm visit to Ancient Pony Farm did go out through the libraries. And we had like 20 people, maybe something like that. But I don't know that we're going to get 50 people, if that's any indicator. So just so she's aware that it may be a smaller number than she's expecting.
Sure.
And I'm
Barbara?
sorry, you said, yeah.
Oh, sorry, for the farm registration, was there any other way besides email that people could RSVP? And if not, is that something we should think about? Do we think everybody has access to email?
Yeah, that is something to think about. I can't remember, did we cap that last year? The
remember. I
farm
mean,
visit?
I can't imagine we included a phone number, and I don't think Mary Ann includes a phone number in any of
No.
her events.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So maybe it's just email, email is the way we
Yeah.
do it.
What I'm not remembering is whether we had capped that event
No.
or not. I don't think we did. And we didn't cap the one for Brian either. But we did want to know if people were coming. So we had a count before the event of how many people were coming for the invasive plant workshop. And if we do that, someone will just have to kind of walk me through how to do I don't know how to do a town-wide email, but I'm going to guess Elaine or BZ or one of you might know how to do that and can help me with that.
Do what?
Do a town-wide email, the
Yeah,
email
yeah.
blast, yeah.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
do that when you're ready.
All right. And Christine, can you tell me again the date of the sanctuary visit?
15th of April at
The
noon.
what? You kind of blocked 15th?
April 15th at noon.
Great, okay, great. Because I want to get a hold of Brian this week to suggest some dates to him, and I will be able to, I'd already suggested some dates to him, but then there was the iffiness about when the town meeting was, and he was fine with that. So, okay, well, I think that we have dates for everything that we're planning at this point, with the exception of the invasive plant, and we're working on that. Christine?
What time is the family fun with Mr. Kara at the school?
Last
time
year
do-
we did it
Mhm.
at 10 o'clock, and I think 10 to noon works fine for that.
Mhm. I can't remember the time that we did the farm thing last year, but we'll check with Zoe. Yeah.
Who's doing the family fun? Is it Elaine and I again?
I'm happy to help with it. I mean, anybody on the committee who wants to help. I mean, it
Cool.
worked out, well.
Cool.
I'm
I
not
figure
gonna
we
be
just
on-
do it pretty much the same as we did last year. And
I think
I mean,
so.
Stephen really took he
Yeah.
took the lead on this. And I think it would be great if we can get some students again from the track team, because that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Christine?
Has anyone reached out to Stephen yet about the date and time?
I had talked to him loosely in the fall about that, and he agreed that that was a perfect timing, was the week before school let out, and I'll check back in with him.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And Barbara, rec committee email address, is that right?
The rec committee email address. Do you know what that? I don't know what that is.
Sure, the rec committee email address is, what's the name of it? Let me
I'll
just,
send it, or I can
hold
send
on,
it.
let me just
Okay.
look, hold on.
Probably on the town website, right? Actually?
Recreation@shutesbury.org.
Okay, so you're saying I can use that with the Evite thing?
Yeah, well, what if you send the information to me, then, and then Elaine can tell me how to do a town-wide thing using it. Because
Okay,
that I don't know how to do. And then we just have to figure out the timing, because I would guess we would want it closer to the event.
yeah, this is definitely,
Mhm.
well, actually, yeah. Oh my God, it's almost March.
I know.
So- In a couple of weeks, I think we should probably
Okay.
start.
Okay, yeah, well, let's get in touch about that. And
Yeah.
then, and I'll find out from Elaine what I need to do.
Thank you. Okay, great.
Okay, I'm actually skipped down to the budget thing. The only question that I had around the budget, because we went through it last time and all of our money was spoken for. And we just need to decide if nobody uses the skates, then, or if not, everybody uses the skates, we will have some extra money. And so just to think about what we might want to do with that. I'm not presenting what I'm about to say with any particular forethought, just that, we might have some money to spend on the family field day. We didn't last year. We might, if we have extra money, we might want to use that for some of the awards or other things that we would like to do. But just something to be thinking about in case we have extra money where we might want to spend it. Does anyone else have ideas that just kind of pop to the top of your head just then?
Barbara, you said you your own money out of your own pocket last year for the event. So yeah, I think it
Mhm.
should go for that.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. I think a couple of us did. But yeah, I mean, if we have the money, then yeah, it'd be nice to be reimbursed, but thank you for bringing that up. So the other is membership, and I would just like to, and several of you have brought this up in different times about asking some younger people to join the committee. And one person who certainly comes to my mind is Brian Giggy. He's very enthusiastic about pickleball, but he also has a young son. And I think that, he might be somebody who would be worth inviting on. I don't know that many younger people in town. I know Mary Ann does. She might have some suggestions, but what are your thoughts about inviting a couple of, expanding the committee and inviting a couple of younger people to join the committee? Preferably people who are, I mean, my view of younger is somebody in their 60s, but I guess that isn't quite what we mean, but people who have young children, because so much of our programming is aimed at young children, and having somebody perhaps has a young child and can act as a advocate for some of our programming would be great. What are your thoughts about that? Yeah, Anne.
I think Brian's a great idea because when he was here at the meeting last time, he was so enthusiastic. He's a great communicator. I mean, from what I've seen, Barbara, of your co-authored pickleball emails, and like you said, he has a young son, and he was interested in starting this pickleball in Shutesbury. So he's already, done something that's related to recreation. So I think he's a great idea. And in general, I really support the idea of a couple of younger folks on the committee.
I agree. I think, and since he is running the pickleball, then he can just be in charge of that. Like, just let him run the pickleball. And that could be, that could be work. So why not have him be on the committee? I think it's a great idea.
Okay, I see lots of nodding heads. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know what the process is for inviting somebody, because we would also have to get permission to have an additional slot on the committee. So
I think what we need to do is we need to first go to the select board and get
Okay.
additional slots, and then we invite people.
yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
So I would suggest we ask for 2 to 3,
That's what I was just thinking, exactly the same thing.
because
We
yeah,
know
that
what?
way.
If we ever get the gardens going, I think it would be really good to get a couple young people for that.
Yes,
So I think looking ahead for that,
Yep.
it would be really good to have a couple young people
Yep.
do that. So I think that's a good idea, Lane. Let's not just say one more.
yeah,
And we can tell them, that we have expanded programs which they can see, and it's just not something that the group of us can do, and we want to have a little bit diversity in age and gender.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I can't remember, is there do we serve for a certain amount of time? Is it like a 2-year and then people re-up?
You're in for life, Anne.
If it's like other, if it's
You're
like
only
other
allowed
committees,
off
it's
if there's a
3.
vote.
It's 3.
It's 3 years?
It's like the opposite of Survivor. It's like instead of getting kicked off the island, you're never allowed to leave the island.
Is it
Other
3?
committee members, it's 3, but hold on, I'll look it up while we talk.
Well, you know what? When we started this committee up again after it hadn't been in, whatever, no one had, been on it for years. I don't think there were any like rules about how many people could be on it or how long you would serve. I'm not sure.
Otherwise, we're getting the boot, Beezy.
Oh,
I know.
no. Oh, no. You can always re-up.
You can always re-up.
Well, I really wanted to get the gardens going. I'm sort of, I don't know what's going to happen with that now.
Well, we'll have to wait a little while for the library, but it will be. And,
Is our money still there from the, that we got?
as far
Oh,
as
yeah.
I know, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just-
definitely. Money is still there, and I'm on the Community Preservation Committee, and we definitely know that it's tagged for at least 5 years.
Well, it might be that long.
So don't worry.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got a text I needed to respond to. I apologize. Would be helpful if I knew how to spell, but I don't. Anyway, okay, so I will then go to the select board and ask for 3 additional people. I think one of the benefits of having a larger committee is, as we decided last year, when we take on an activity, there has to be 2 people on the committee, at least 2 people who are willing to work on that particular idea, or we don't do it.
Right.
So, and this way, we can kind of spread that out even more with some of the activities that we're doing, especially once we have the garden. it'll be helpful to have people on here who want to do that. Are there any other comments about membership? I'll just go ahead and ask for the additional 3. And meanwhile, if everybody just kind of has their feelers out for younger people who might be interested in serving on a committee, it would be great to find people like Brian who haven't been active before, get them involved. Okay. Let's see, which brings us up to pickleball. So although pickleball isn't an official recreation committee activity, Brian and I have been running this, and we had some bumps at the beginning. The biggest bump was that we wanted to have 2 courts in the gym. And for anybody who's been into the elementary school gym, you'll see that Stephen has a huge amount of stuff all around the perimeter. All of that had to be moved every single time.
Oh.
And the courts measured out. It took me 2.5 hours to get ready for the 2-hour session. It was misery. I mean, I can't put it any other way. It was a miserable experience.
I heard her complain.
Well,
Yeah.
I just want to say I was there with her in person and she was very professional at the time.
Having worked with faculty all those years, I know how not to let my misery out. So what we ended up doing was taping out 1 court. And there's enough room now in the gym, so we don't have to set up the court each time. We don't have to move anything. We just come in, people can start playing. We set up the nets. The net is easy to put together. We're
And
donating.
People are
at least-
showing. How many people are showing up?
We're fully booked on Saturdays and we're booked for the first hour on Thursdays. And one of the things that we decided is that at this point, the hours have to be hours when we're able to be there and want to be there. So for the remainder of this year, we're going to be doing Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings. One of the things that we talked about today is that there are people who sign themselves up for both of the slots, which means that if you have a total of 10 slots for people to play over a 2-hour section, if there's people who are signing up in both the first hour and the second hour, they're taking up a lot of court time. And we don't know whether there are other people who want to sign up and then go and look and say, oh, I can't, it's full. So I sent out an email about that to all the pickleball people, people who expressed an interest in pickleball, suggesting that they just show up.
How many people expressed interest when you
We
said?
have about 35 people.
Wow, 35. That's impressive.
Yeah. So like I said, there've been some bumps as we've gotten going, but we're down to the 1 court and people are having fun and meeting each other, and it's really working out well. I personally am going to need to find someone else at some point. Because of my knee, I cannot play pickleball. And so I had been able to play for a while and now I can't play at all. So I basically just sit there, and I don't mind sitting there, it's all that much, but I think it would be nicer to have somebody who's actually playing who could take that on. So I'm going to finish this season up and then we'll think about next season.
What
Well,
about
the other thing?
Brian?
Hmm?
Is Brian there? When
Yeah,
you?
but not, he takes care of 1 2-hour block and I take care of another 2-hour block.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so he's really not interested, and neither one of us is interested in taking on additional time there.
Well, have you asked any of the people the 35 people that want to come? Maybe one of them would do it.
Well, the principal isn't that keen on having a lot of people have access to the keys to the building.
Well,
So at this
yeah.
point, so she really wants to minimize that. So for this year, we're not going to do that. We're going to just stick with the 2-hour sections that each of us is willing to do. Yeah, Christine?
Yeah. Did you have
So-
to get cord? That people had to get cord?
What?
Did people
No,
have? No.
Brian and I had to get Corey tests.
Wow.
Nobody else does.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, no, they don't have to. Yeah, Christine?
So would it be up to us to take
It's-
your spot us as the rec committee? Or
Nope, this
just,
has nothing to do with the rec committee other than it's an activity that I suggested, but I am doing it kind of out of the goodness of my heart.
so who would be the person to take your
One
position?
of the other pickleball players. We'll
Okay,
kind of,
gotcha.
yeah, but that's going to be between Brian and me. I thought it was really important not to get us enmeshed in that because there were so many decisions that had to be made. And at what point would we have to bring every decision back here? Whereas this way, Brian and I just have an exchange of emails and we make a change.
Cool,
And it's really
Cool.
simple.
cool.
Yeah. So, and that's how they did it in Leverett, and Leverett was our model. The only difference in Leverett is there's this woman who's doing it, Liz Etheridge, and she's a real pickleball and enthusiast, and she's basically spearheading the whole thing. And I think she would happily be at the gym every night of the week if she could, with pickleball going on. And neither Brian nor I are quite that enthusiastic. So, but I think once we have one season under our belt, and so far our relationships with the people at the elementary school have been really positive. We're donating the nets, and I've got a bunch of balls to take to Stephen so that they can use them in classes. He thought it might be fun to have a pickleball tournament between faculty and staff and students. So, you know, we're being good citizens there.
You
But
know,
the
you
other
might-
issue with
I was gonna say, you might want to, at the end of this season, just put out, a little kind of questionnaire to
Yeah,
the
we talked
people who
about
have
that
played
today.
about, you know, what they liked, what they didn't like, hours, and who might be willing to volunteer.
Yeah, Mike, Brian, and I talked about that today. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, the part about pickleball that does affect us is that the way Brian first approached the committee was not about having the indoor, but rather about getting a grant to create a pickleball court outdoors, which I think would be a great idea.
Mhm.
Pickleball courts cost on average about $25,000. The price can go up or down depending on the nature of the surface, how much work has to be done to make it a flat surface, what kind of fencing is used. And he's keen on working on a grant. And so I don't know whether or not would the community CD, whatever no, that would not be appropriate.
I don't think so.
Mhm.
Well, it's recreation, isn't it?
It is, but we don't construct courts and
No.
stuff like that, like, the grant for the, Amherst Regional Track, we can't do, the surface, we can do, field work and stuff like that, so maybe, you know, I'll look into that.
Oh,
But
thank you.
we might be able to get some community preservation money. I would look to a cultural council for
Okay.
grant money.
They don't have much money though.
Yeah,
You know what? I think you could take those, you know, the basketball courts that are outside. And you could
Mm.
use that, it's already a surface there. You
there are a
know,
lot of kids play basketball there on the weekend, though.
Well, I know, but you could have it be a multi-purpose court. In other words, you could have, you could figure out a way to have basketball at one end, or, you know, I mean, there's room to have a basketball court and a pickleball court there.
But if you, the idea would be to keep I would think to keep the netting up and all, and that's used for parking,
Mm.
during different meeting times. So I
Fair.
doubt the school would want to restrict any part of it.
Well,
I would suggest, you know, somewhere like behind the fire station.
oh yeah, like all those fire trucks come out and they're gonna, you can't have, but you have to have it where the baseball field
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's nothing going on there.
no, that's true.
Nice flat surface.
A lot of PFAS there.
Yeah.
PFAS pickle. Yeah, or behind the town. I mean, there's nothing going on there. That's a big flat.
Yeah, where we were gonna put the garden.
Yeah. And
Oh,
there's,
that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's-
Although that wasn't that flat.
well, it's flat right by where the solar panels are.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's where we do outdoor meetings, so we have to be careful of that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Could have it over on the side. Pickleball courts are not very big.
They're 20 by 40 feet, or no, is that right?
They're half,
Yeah, 20 by 44 feet. Then you also need to have room on the sides and the back.
yeah, it's
So
like
they're
half a tennis court,
a
two,
little, just about half a tennis court, a little bit longer. Mhm. Yep. Well,
that's
I
what,
think Brian, would be happy to be part of these conversations. And so I think as we start thinking about where it might be and who we might, and I'll just invite Brian to our meetings
Mhm.
when we have this on the agenda. He works until 4:30, but he can, as long as I put any discussion at the end of the meeting, then we should be fine. Is there any
Yep.
Is that okay with everybody?
that's good. And maybe
Great.
when you do your questionnaire, Barbara, to the pickleball players,
Mhm.
maybe you ask, the rec committee is looking for some new members. Is anybody's
Mhm.
in? Maybe some of those people, would like to get involved.
The major, not to be a Debbie Downer here, but pickleball tends to attract older people. And so there aren't a lot of there are some people who are younger than I am, for example, but it is not a young person's sport. For the most part, it's people who are in their 50s, 60s. So, but Brian is an outlier as opposed to being representative of most people. So let's see kind of if we find people who are younger who show up, that's great. And then we can ask them, but I would hesitate to ask that population because of the age, the average age.
Okay.
So. Okay, well, that's all I had. So I guess action steps that we have coming out of this is in a couple of weeks. I'll send out an email blast about the Leverett Sanctuary. And then I'll be in touch with Christine about content and Elaine about how to do it. And then what was the other one? We want
Christine's going to be working on the skate vouchers.
Christine's going to be working on the skate vouchers. Elaine, you're going to get talk to Stephen to just confirm that June 10th date. I'll be getting a hold of Brian, who's not the two different Brians, the invasive plant Brian, about a date for him to come out. And then I'll talk with Pickleball Brian about thinking about locations, having him come to our next meeting and maybe kind of nail down a little bit drill down, I guess that's the expression, a little bit more on where we might apply for money, where we might put it.
And one more item is you're going to get in touch with the select board and ask
Oh, thank you,
to
of course,
increase
yeah,
the membership.
yes, thank you
And-
for that reminder.
Happy to help with the farm thing on the Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, super, thank you, that would be great.
I'm not going to be around that June 10th. I'll be in Pennsylvania, but I will be here Memorial Day. So
Great, thank you.
yeah, I'm happy to help run that or whatever.
Good. It's a really wonderful one because mainly we just show up and we
Right.
get to hold baby goats
Oh, very.
And eat cheese.
and eat cheese. That's right. That's right.
What not?
Okay. So I think we're all set. Can anyone make a movement to, yes, Christine.
I just want to say thank you to everybody because these are such awesome things. I'm looking forward to all of them, and I just appreciate everybody's ideas and making these things come true, for our community. Thank you.
Cool.
And right back at you. Thank you. I think it's something we all do. And we really we get things, we make things happen. It is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion to adjourn. I have to go start working on my driveway.
Oh, let me see if I
So-
can find Vernon.
Our
There's-
next meeting is March 28th, correct, at 4?
Yes, mhm, at
Cool.
4 p.m. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, Christine, for minutes. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions and for being here, and just thank you for this great committee.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks,
a lot.
everybody.
Peace
Thank you.
out.